Let's make some brownie bread. That's right, brownie bread. We love all forms of brownies. All right, first thing we did is we have 1 cup of chocolate chips here. We have melted those in the microwave, and when we put them in, we put it in for 30 seconds, stirred it, 30 seconds, stirred it to make sure that they're all nice and melted. We want this to cool back down to just about room temperature before we use it. In our bowl here, we're going to crack 3 eggs. We're going to do our very best to try to do it without shells.
Look, the first egg that he put in, part of it went down the outside of the bowl.
Things happen, things happen. All right, with our standard crew, we've got our paddle attachment. We're going to add to that 1 1/4 cups of sugar, and we're going to beat that for 5 minutes to make sure it's all nice and fluffy. Meanwhile, over here in our container, we have 1 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. To that, we're going to add 1/4 a teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, now if you like these recipes, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share. We really appreciate it. Yeah, I'm making more of a mess. I'm doing really good today. All right. And we're also going to add 1/2 cup of cocoa powder. And we're just going to mix that all together and wait for the 5 minutes for our wet ingredients to be finished. After the 5 minutes, it's going to have that nice, creamy, silky look to it. I'm going to turn that down to low. And now I'm going to add my chocolate. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier. This is going to be milk chocolate. I'm going to try not to make any more huge messes. This isn't the cooking channel. We show it exactly like it is. All right, now we're going to add to this 1/2 cup of vegetable oil, and 3/4 cup of water. And we're just going to mix that until everything is nice and blended well. Now, we've preheated our oven to 325 degrees. And we have a 9x5 cake pan that we have sprayed with some non-stick cooking spray. All right. Stuff along the sides, that looks good. Now we're going to add our dry mixture. Mix that fairly well. Now what's going to make this brownie really good is it's going to have a milk chocolate ganache that goes on top of it. It's going to be really delicious. Now this brownie, we're going to bake it from roughly 85 to 90 minutes. So it does take a little while. And we're going to do the toothpick test on it to make sure that it's done in the center. Our mixture there is pretty much done. We're going to knock off what we can there. There we go. Just mix that in with ours. I lied, I couldn't resist from making another mess. Even when I don't try, I mean, I'm just really good at it. All right. It's got to be pointed out, that's right. All right, like I said earlier, we're going to bake this in the oven at 325 minutes. We're going to bake it for roughly 85 to 90 minutes, and we're going to use a toothpick test to make sure there's no crumbs on it after we pull it out. We would much rather underbake this by a tad bit than overbake it, because we do not want it dry. We kind of want to have that brownie consistency and texture. All right. It looks like a brownie on top, doesn't it? All right, we're going to let this cool, and once it gets cooled, we're going to make our chocolate ganache. We've taken the cake out of the pan, we set it there. In this small container here, we've got 1/4 a cup of heavy cream. We're going to stick it in a saucepan, and we're going to bring that to a nice little simmer. Once it begins to simmer, you have a few little bubbles. Turn the heat off. Over here we have 1/2 cup of our milk chocolate chips, and we're just going to pour that over that. This warm cream will melt the chocolate chips, form an easy milk chocolate ganache. Just takes just a few moments. Simple. Then we're just going to take this beautiful cream and pour it all over our wonderful bread here. And then we're going to let this set for a few minutes. We're going to slice it and do what we do best. We're going to eat it. Hope you enjoyed this recipe.